To me, well, he didn't actually say anything about the wedding, but I know he hates my hair up. And the day of my wedding, you know, ultimately, you're hoping that when you get to the top of the aisle, your husband-to-be looks at you and goes, wow. And I knew if I wore my hair up or I wore it curly, he'd go, ew.
Funnily enough, you did that with your hair down.
Very feisty today, aren't we? It's time to take a short break. But coming up, we're delighted to say we'll be meeting actress Mia Farrow back soon. Wednesday lunchtime break with Loose Women. Now, our first guest has Hollywood in her blood. Born into a show business family, she started her film career at the tender age of 14. She hit the big time with the classic horror film Rosemary's Baby in 1968 and has since gone on to appear in over 40 movies, including classics such as Hannah and Her Sisters, Great Gatsby and The Omen. But away from acting, she's put her very high profile to extremely good use as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and has just launched her latest campaign to support the survivors of the Darfur conflict. Would you please give a rousing warm welcome to Mia Farrow?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a region of the world which has been in the news a lot because of the conflict. Here in the UK, we've had a teacher who's been in some bit of trouble in the Sudan area lately, but we don't really know that much about it. You've been 7 times to the area. Can you just give us a sort of a brief overview of where it is and what it's like and the personal stories that you've encountered there?
Okay, the unfortunate incident with the teacher really exemplifies the brutality of the regime, the Sudanese regime, which launched an all-out attack upon its own civilian population, as if London were to attack Wales. I'll give you an example. I wear always with me, I have something called a hijab, it was given to me by a wonderful woman named Halima. And she insisted that I have it for my protection. I who could offer her no protection. No one is safe in the Darfur region. She described the morning that her village was attacked. Bombs filled the skies, bombers attacked helicopters, and people ran in all directions. They had been sleeping. And then camels and horses, men arrived on camels and horseback, and they tore her baby, her infant that she had been holding from her arms, and bayoneted him in front of her eyes. 3 of her 5 children were similarly killed on that day, and her husband too. And she clasped my hands and said, "Tell people what is happening here. Tell them we need help. Tell them we will all be slaughtered." Now, that was 2004, and
nothing's happened.
It was
Mia, is this a racism issue?
It is a racism issue. It is the non-Arab population that is being attacked by the Arab population.
And yet there's been no intervention from the outside world. So tell us what we as individuals can do. Obviously, you're using your celebrity to raise awareness of the conflict of the region, of the encounters that you've had.
Yes, and of course the situation is more complex than we have time to go into here. But what people can do, I mean, a couple of things. One is I have my own website designed to it's a highly trafficked website, and the most visited page, it's miafarrow.org, and the What We Can Do list is one thing for sure is we can support our aid agencies that are there. And I'm here in England at the invitation of the Aegis Trust, which is a remarkable organization dedicated to the prevention of genocide. And they've just initiated a new thing called Fund for Darfur, which supports groups in Darfur and those that have had to flee, victims of torture. So we want to support them, and that's called fundfordarfur.org. So either one of those websites would be wonderful to visit.
Have your own children, because you have so many, as we know, natural and adopted children, have you taken any of them to this region at any point?
I took one of my sons, Ronan, on both trips because he was already a youth ambassador for UNICEF, and because he graduated from university at 15, he really made what I called a tough decision to go, because it was very risky. But I also felt that our family motto is, with knowledge comes responsibility. And I felt if he knew these things, and there are levels of knowing, as we know. If you go to my website, you'll see the photographs that I took over 7 trips to the region, and lots of things that have informed me, plus stuff he has written, and things I've written, all of which have been published. So he's galvanized. He's in law school now, and he's dedicated his life to human rights.
One of the interesting things about a position that you're in is quite sometimes people in your position come under fire for saying, what does a Hollywood star know about world politics or what's going on. But I think I've chatted at length with Angelina Jolie about this, and she says the only way she can really bear the excesses of the lifestyle that she has in that show business world is to put it to good use by, you know, getting the press to follow her to regions that need that spotlight. She's sort of followed almost in your footsteps in that way. But she said one of the tough things is mentally to attune from, you know, one minute she's in some war-stricken, poverty-stricken part of the world, and the next minute she's on a red carpet in Beverly Hills. How do you manage to sort of assimilate those two lives?
I think my life is less lavish than Angelina Jolie. Now, I don't live in Hollywood. I'm not married to Brad Pitt, unfortunately. I really am, I go a lot into the region, and it's really now taken, I would say I'm there 99% of the time, whether I'm literally there or there in my mind. I'm writing pieces, I'm keeping myself abreast of what is happening. I'm touring the country, my own country and the world, telling people Halima's story, and sometimes I have a lot more time to go into the complexity of the details, the how and why, the influence of China. Look on the website, you'll see. I spend my time trying to tell people with the hope that with knowledge will follow responsibility. But really the only message we've sent to the people of Darfur is that they're completely expendable. And I give up on our governments. I think the people really have to raise their voices and say, we need that protection force to come in as soon as possible. Make it clear to your governments, to the House of Commons, don't send those tortured refugees back into the hands of the perpetrators. You know, keep them safely until they can safely return. Things like that. There are things that we can do.
Well, we thank you for coming here today, for explaining a very complex issue as quickly and as easily as you can, and for sharing your personal experiences, and we wish you well on your next trip.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mia Farrow, everybody. Now, the way, if you're interested in what Mia was speaking about very touchingly about Darfur, there is more information about the Fund for Darfur that she's just launched. Details are available on our website, www.itv.com/loosewomen. Okay, slight gear change now, girls. From pamper parties to pedicures, Generation Tween, that's kids aged 7 to 11, apparently have fallen in love with the grown-up world of beauty. In fact, in a recent survey, 63% of 7 to 11-year-olds polled admitted to wearing lipstick. But is experimenting with makeup just harmless fun, or is it unhealthy for children to be worrying about the adult world of beauty at such a tender age, Jane?
I'm absolutely filled with dread, and I know I sound like an old frump here, but I just think, please, please, please let our kids be kids. You know, because they're growing up so quickly as it is, and I know girls and little girls are very inquisitive, and if it's your mum's little lipstick and you can put a dab on, we've all done that, but not buy the whole set for them and say here you are and go out in it. I just, it fills me with dread, absolute dread, it really does. And the one thing that I hate to see is, you know, the American pageants when the little girls are dressed up and they've got full makeup on and fake tan. It would just like, stop, just let our kids be kids. They've got nothing now anyway.
I totally agree with you, and letting them go out in it is just a step too far. But having said that, when I'm at home, Kira is such a girly girl. She absolutely